Hi out there everybody, this is Robin from EQE Outdoors, and this is just to respond to a whole bunch of you out there who wanted to know more about what is actually in the certificate in Advanced Wilderness Therapeutic Approaches. So hi Ella and a bunch of other people as well. Well, the first thing that we need to just clear up is that this is an independently accredited level 3 qualification, but it's a high level of multidisciplinary level 3 training, so it's actually recognized as a certificate grade level 3 qualification. In terms of the outcomes for this course, this training, it's a unique and comprehensive qualification which is basically equipping you to design and run your own wilderness therapeutic interventions and applications. Next thing is, who is it for? Well, very briefly, it's for school staff of all sorts. That could be SENDCos, inclusion staff, pastoral staff, but also class teachers, TAs, and everybody. It's also for outdoor practitioners, it's also for therapists and counsellors, it's also for healthcare professionals, children's workers, and prospective children's workers. There are 5 learning units within this training course. Unit 1 is Outdoor Skills 1, which is essential bushcraft to a very good working level. So this is a higher working level than typically you would get with something like, say, forest schools, for example. Unit 2 is Outdoor Skills 2, and that's all about wilderness therapeutic group management. It can be a whole different ball game out there, and a lot of the approaches that you might typically use in your standard teaching methods, for example, if you're a bushcraft practitioner, or the approaches that we typically use in forest schools pedagogy, they're not appropriate when working with certain profiles of identified individuals or groups, or when working to best therapeutic practice. So it's not the same thing as best bushcraft practice or best forest schools practice. So Unit 2 is all about this wilderness therapeutic group management. Unit 3 is your therapeutic approaches, the application of therapeutic approaches, recognized approaches, and best practice, that's therapeutic best practice in the wilderness environment. This is the real deal. This is where you're engaging with a wide range of therapeutic concepts and approaches to enable you to then move on to Unit 4. And Unit 4 is the design and the structure and the implementation of wilderness therapeutic interventions. And within that, we're drawing on 20 years of EQE people's experience and expertise in therapeutic intervention, design, and implementation. We know how to do it, and we know how not to do it, and we know how to make it impact effective. And that leads on to Unit 5. Unit 5 is all about the EQE 4 dimensions therapeutic impact assessment approach, and you will learn how to meaningfully measure and report on the impact of a wilderness therapeutic intervention or program. And to summarize those 5 units, we're focusing basically on building 3 areas of expertise. Outdoor skills and bushcraft, obviously, and outdoor therapeutic group management. Secondly, therapeutic understanding and application, and actually constructing your applied therapeutic toolkit. And thirdly, combining those 2 disciplines skillfully into true wilderness therapeutic approaches, enabling the creation of your own targeted wilderness therapeutic interventions and being able to see and measure the impact of them. So you're building the right expertise in all of the required disciplines. So in other words, it is a multidisciplinary qualification. It's bushcraft at a good working level, and you will be trained by a qualified advanced bushcraft practitioner. The therapeutic content and its application, you'll be trained by award-winning therapists and explicitly wilderness therapeutic experts. It's about targeted wilderness therapeutic activities and objectives of activities and activity design. It is about design, as we said, of wilderness therapeutic interventions and programs. And it's also about learning how to appropriately target age, ability, and specific identified issues of individuals and groups, and therapeutic group management outdoors and impact assessment, as I say, using EQE's 4 dimensions impact assessment approach. You'll be working and learning in all 4 areas of SEND, that's special educational needs and disabilities. Our interventions are targeted for impact at specific age, ability and developmental levels, issues and diagnoses. And in terms of SEND, that covers the 4 areas of communication and interaction, cognition and learning, SEMH, that's social, emotional and mental health, and also sensory and physical needs. So this encompasses all children and young adults, whether everyday SEMH issues, confidence, self-esteem and behavioural issues, or other issues and diagnoses such as ASC, autism, ADHD, MLD or SLD, severe learning difficulties, or SPD, sensory processing disorder, and also addressing explicitly things like trauma, grief, attachment difficulties, and so on. In terms of the course structure and qualification, training takes place over 2 separate weeks that you must attend. In between those training weeks, you will be working on your portfolio and designing and running case study sessions with children yourselves to report on. Week 1 is a full training week. Week 2 is a further training and assessment week. Full attendance and completion of the portfolio and the case study impact assessment report are required for this qualification, but we will walk you through those things. Successful learners will then be externally certificated by the independent awarding body, and you will hold the level 3 qualification, as I say, at the higher certificate level. And the qualification is the certificate in advanced wilderness therapeutic approaches. It's enabling you to design and run your own wilderness therapeutic interventions and programs with measurable impact. You are trained in our 4 dimensions impact assessment approach in order to impact assess and report on the impact of the programs that you're subsequently running yourselves. In terms of EQE, who are we? If you don't know, EQE is the UK's leading training specialist in wilderness therapeutic approaches and interventions. I'll say that unashamedly. In terms of our work with children, we work with adults as well, but in terms of our work with children, we work in many settings. We work in primary and secondary schools. We work in mainstream and special schools. We've worked and we do work in behaviour, pupil referral units or PRUs. We've worked with the hospital teaching service and medical PRU schools, SEMH schools, and also other special provision units and schools, including organisations like the Seashell Trust. We also work directly through the Looked After Children service, the LAC service, and also adoption support. So we're used widely. In terms of our track record, up until 2020, we've been awarded the Play Therapy International Award for our lead therapist's achievements. We've created the Think Room model, the Therapeutic Inclusion Room model, which is used widely throughout England. And in terms of wilderness therapy with young people aged 4 to 24, we've run around 200 separate programs now in wilderness therapy and personal development for young people. We have directly applied our wilderness therapeutic approaches with more than 3,000 children to date, children and young adults within the UK. And in terms of our work with schools, we've accredited around 400 school staff and children's workers to run wilderness therapeutic interventions. Now, through that, we have facilitated the ongoing wilderness therapeutic provision engine, if you like, for thousands of children and young adults each year through our EQE accredited and trained individuals in schools. Recognition, formal listing, approved provider status with, for example, LEAs, SEND provision, the LAC service, adoption support, and because of our expertise and experience in measuring the impact of therapeutic interventions, particularly when operating outdoors in nature, we've consulted for the NHS on measuring impact on mental health and well-being. EQE worked with the European Centre for Environment and Human Health, producing a document, the Route to Wellbeing document, which was a handbook for evaluating and communicating the well-being impact of woodland social enterprises. Now, you can download the prospectus for this certificate in Advanced Wilderness Therapeutic Approaches. You can download the prospectus at our website on the link that you can see on the screen. So look, that's it. Thanks for listening, and looking forward to seeing you on one of our courses soon. Stay safe, stay well, and talk to you soon.